Hey man, they gonna cancel your Black Lightning show after season 4. Cancel? They told me my show was ending. Ending just like my heterosexuality and my heterosexual black male identity on that Arrow show where they got me presented as a gay, bumbling, stumbling idiot. Man, they trying to run a game on you. But Black Light, they told me the show was gonna end because they ran out of stories. Stories? Stories? You believe that jive? They canceled my show after the second season with that type of stuff, talking about they was running out of stuff. Man, that's just a bunch of jive. There's plenty of Black Lightning stories they could tell. What kind of stories could they tell? Well, I didn't get a chance to team up with you, Jefferson, and that could have been a whole season all by itself.
Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited. John Haynes, the man with nothing to lose. The man who rules the world runs into the irresistible force of a man with nothing to lose in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get the regular and variant editions of John Haynes, the man with nothing to lose on Amazon.com today.
Yesterday, the CW announced that Black Lightning would be ending after its fourth season in 2021. And this came as a major surprise to many black comic fans, black sci-fi fans, black fantasy fans, and many black nerds who were big fans of the Black Lightning show. Now, this Black Lightning show is ending just as it's coming into the new Berlantiverse, and that was again another major surprise for all of the black comic fans, black fantasy fans, black sci-fi fans, and many black nerds, because they thought that we were going to see further character development of Jefferson Pierce and his family as they interacted with the entire new DC universe that had been established after last year's Crisis of Infinite Earths. And this announcement of Black Lightning only being canceled after 4 seasons is one that is quite troubling when you really think about it, because Arrow had an 8-season run, and The Flash also is in its 7th season right now. So there were plenty of stories that many black nerds, black comic fans, black sci-fi fans think that could have been told, and they believe that this show could have gone on for at least 2 to 3 more years based on the track record of Greg Berlanti and Greg Berlanti Productions. However, when I take a critical examination of your Greg Berlanti and Greg Berlanti Productions, the cancellation of Black Lightning, or the quote-unquote ending of Black Lightning, is par for the course with your Berlanti Productions and the CW. Because as we've seen in the past with many Berlanti Productions, Greg Berlanti has a serious issue with black men, and the CW, I believe, has an issue with any sort of show that presents images of black men. And Black Lightning was one of the few television shows out here that presented a positive image of a black man, presenting us with Jefferson Pierce, who was Black Lightning, and presenting us with an image of a responsible black man who was a leader in his community and a responsible father over 2 daughters, and not only being a hero as Black Lightning, but also being a hero as a father who went out to teach and mentor his 2 daughters and teach them about the role of being responsible in their community and being heroes overall. So those kind of messages are not the ones that many in the mainstream media want to promote in their media, especially as related to the image of a heterosexual black man. And those type of images don't really fit the narrative that many production companies in Hollywood want to present as related to the image of a black man. So that's probably why Black Lightning is ending its run after only 4 seasons, and now they want to do a backdoor pilot to a new series about one of the characters on the show. And I believe that the reason why they want to do that backdoor pilot to that new series is because they want to create a black male character that many of these white production companies feel more comfortable with, someone who can present the racial stereotypes that they feel more inclined to support. So that's why they want to get rid of Black Lightning. And it's just like what they wanted to do with Netflix's Luke Cage, because in the second season of Luke Cage, we really started to see the narrative of the show start to change into something that was presenting a positive image of black manhood and positive image of black masculinity. And this image and this narrative of showing us a responsible black man who takes charge of his community and wants to protect his community, that's something that your Hollywood does not like to see. And every time we try to get a black male character like this, they try to find some way to emasculate him or neuter him, like they did in Black Lightning Season 2, because I stopped watching Black Lightning because of what was happening with the show behind the scenes. And I could see it in the scripts where they were trying to find ways to try to minimize Jefferson Pierce as a man on his own show and trying to emasculate him like they did in the second season, where they took him out of his role as a principal and tried to make it where he was being undermined as his authority as a father. They were trying to minimize this man all throughout the show, and this is one of the reasons why the show's ratings really started to decline, because most people, like myself, who were comic fans for over 30 years, we wanted to see a Black Lightning show similar to what we got with Netflix's Luke Cage, where we were going to see a heterosexual black man being a leader and an authority figure out to protect his and preserve his community and keep it safe, and also see him in this show again being that father, but his character kept being marginalized and minimized as they tried to push his alphabet daughter and make her the main focus of the show. And they minimized Black Lightning to the point where he was not even a major player in his own show. So that was one of the reasons why I stopped watching, and the ratings reflected that, because as of the third season, the numbers had dropped down to about 650,000 viewers, and 650,000 viewers is less than some of the top YouTube channels on here, like your PewDiePie, like your Toxic Tears, like your Black Friday, and many people like Timcast, or people like many others on the platform, like The Quartering and many others. These YouTubers get over 1 million views on one video, and they're getting more views than this Black Lightning show, and that's one of the reasons why the show is being ended, is because many of the CW shows, they just weren't getting the numbers. And one of the reasons why the shows really weren't getting the numbers was because a lot of their shows were pushing these woke narratives and this identity politics. And these woke narratives and identity politics were alienating comic fans like myself, who knew who these characters were, and they were looking to try to change these character stories to push social justice agendas. That's another reason why, sadly, Black Lightning is ending after season 4. There was probably more in the tank for this show, because a lot of black nerds and black comic fans, they thought there was a lot more in the tank for this show, and there probably could have been more in the tank for this show. Unfortunately, Berlanti's push for social justice and identity politics at the forefront alienated so many viewers, they had no incentive to come back and keep watching the show. And the show itself wound up falling in the ratings, because comic fans like myself, we left because we were tired of watching Jefferson Pierce being emasculated and marginalized on his own show. But what's really sad is that this show is being canceled so abruptly, when we had your Arrow and your Flash go longer seasons, and Legends of Tomorrow, which is been a show that has really been struggling creatively for years, is still allowed on the air. And even your Batwoman, which was a complete disaster in its first season, is getting a second chance, but Black Lightning is being ended abruptly. I can't help but think that there's something racial behind that, because I have to ask the critical question: why is it that the black show featuring the black heterosexual male character as a lead is being ended or canceled, but the shows that are doing worse, like Batwoman, and shows that are creatively directionless, like Legends of Tomorrow and The Flash, being renewed once again? Why is it those shows are being given a chance, but your Black Lightning, which is only 4 seasons old, is being ended so abruptly? So that's why I have to ask that critical question, because I can't help but think that there's something racial behind that, because a lot of these people in Hollywood, they don't like seeing those images of black men out there that are strong heterosexual black men who are fathers and are heads of their household and leading their families. They don't like seeing those images because those images make them uncomfortable, because those images represent a black man taking power, and in their white supremacist mind, a black man should not have any power. He should be somebody who is less than, somebody who is marginalized, and somebody who should be at the bottom of the world. And the spinoff, as it looks like to me, you got this guy who's got this kind of street and urban look, and that's something that makes many of these white people in Hollywood feel more comfortable, because they love seeing these urban and street type of guys, and they don't like seeing those images of responsible, conscientious men standing up for themselves, standing up to define who they are, and standing up to represent what they're really about. Those type of images make them uncomfortable, but the urban dude who's from the streets makes them feel comfortable, because they can make him into a childlike image and make him look like he's, again, less than. But the CW ending Black Lightning makes me look at the work that I'm doing and realize why it's so valuable, because this ending, cancellation of Black Lightning, whatever you want to call it, the ultimate point of it is it shows us that we, as black comic fans, black sci-fi fans, black fantasy fans, black nerds, we cannot sit here and rely on white and non-black companies to produce content that features our image or content that tells our stories, and we cannot depend on these companies to continue producing that content, because at any given time that content can be taken from us, and any given time they can just decide to pull the plug on that content. And that's why it's important for people out here who were fans of shows like Black Lightning to go out here and support independent black fantasy, sci-fi, and comic creators like myself on things like my SJS Direct imprint, where I produce the John Haynes series, which presents you with a strong, positive, masculine, heterosexual image of a black man. It's important to go out here and support works on things like my SJS Direct imprint or other black creators out here who are producing strong, positive, masculine images of black men, because this is the only place where you're going to be able to get this kind of content, and know you're going to be able to get that content consistently on a regular basis. It's only black independent creators who are going to produce this content regularly, and we can only continue to produce that content with your support, because when it comes down to corporate entities like your AT&T, their bottom line is not going out here and producing black content that features black characters, and they are not interested in keeping those type of characters as their priority. No, companies like the CW, their priority is producing shows like your Superman and Lois, producing shows like The Flash, and they're not really focused on the impact that a show like Black Lightning would have on black children. They want, again, the idea of that positive black man makes them uncomfortable. And now that they've got Batwoman in place with this Javicia Leslie, they're thinking they have a show that's more comfortable for them, because this show, which features an ex-drug dealer living in a van down by the river, this makes many of these white executives feel more comfortable because it perpetuates the stereotypes that they feel comfortable with. This show, Batwoman, and the spin-off that they're planning for Black Lightning, both of these shows are more in line with what these white executives want to see from a black show. And that's another reason why your Black Lightning is ending after 4 seasons, is because now they've got 2 new shows that not only feature black heroes, but repackage old stereotypes that make many white executives feel comfortable and make them feel more comfortable with the image of black people. So that's another reason why Black Lightning is ending after 4 seasons, is because most of these companies like Time Warner and AT&T, they want black images, but they want black images they feel more comfortable with. And images of men like Mike Cotler's Luke Cage in season 2 becoming the power man in the suit and the man running his community, and your Jefferson Pierce being a principal and a leader and an authority figure in his community. Those images make these white executives uncomfortable, and that's why it's important, if you want those type of stories, you've got to head over to black-owned media like the SJS Direct imprint and go out here and support characters like John Haynes, who presents you with that strong, powerful, heterosexual black man who is an executive and a guy who calls himself the man who rules the world, because he understands that ruling the world is not about being a king, it's about being a king in your mind and having a leadership mindset and thinking like a leader. And these are traits that people need in their stories, especially young brothers and young sisters, learning how to be leaders, learning how to be authority figures. These are the type of stories that can inspire a generation to go out here and be their best, do their best, and live to achieve and accomplish something. And again, programming in mainstream media is about programming ideas in people's minds, and that's one of the reasons why they wanted to get Black Lightning off the air, is because they didn't want to program that idea of being a responsible black man in a show. So there was a lot they still could have probably done with the right creative team on Black Lightning. I mean, season 5 we could have gotten Static. That would have been a great crossover. I mean, season 4 we could have gotten some other heroes and did something with the Outsiders. I mean, there were so many story possibilities. Unfortunately, the show got bogged down by social justice and identity politics narratives, and that led to a ratings drop. And then you had the whole, again, people who just don't like these type of images, and now that they've got Big Butt Batwoman and they've got this other backdoor spinoff, they've got shows that can fit the stereotypes that everybody feels comfortable with. And sadly, what I'm seeing with this is that again, it shows us why it's important to go out here and support black-owned media, because with black-owned media, you're not only getting your image, but you're getting your image from responsible brothers and sisters who want to promote positive messages that teach the next generation of brothers and sisters out here and people all over the world about black people. And this is what we really want. And again, if you're really upset about the ending of Black Lightning, then you have to begin to go out here and support independent black-owned media like the SJS Direct imprint, because if you elevate characters like John Haynes from creators like myself, then we can carry on that legacy of black heroes and keep people inspired and imagining a world where they see the heroes as black and they see themselves taking power in their own black communities. Now, if you want to pick up the books of the John Haynes series or my other books that are African American fantasy, like the ISIS series and the Eastheme series, you can find all of those books in paperback and Kindle format on Amazon.com on paperback and Kindle format. You can also find them on Smashwords, the iBookstore, and Google Play. And if you want to see me be able to make more videos about African American fantasy and science fiction, you can donate to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the link in the description box. I also use those donations to go out here and pay black artists for the covers of books like the John Haynes series, and also use them to pay comic artists to do projects like the Eastheme No Good Deed comic strip, and what I'm trying to plan, an upcoming John Haynes or ISIS graphic novel. So I really would like to get your support for those upcoming projects, because I want to keep producing positive images of black people and get young black boys and young black girls and young black men and black women to imagine a fantasy world with themselves in it. So I can only do that with your support. So I'm asking everybody to please donate to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.
Now available, paperback and Kindle Unlimited, ISIS, the main event. It's carnage inside of a steel cage when the goddess next door steps in the squared circle with the beast from the boss in this action-packed all-new ISIS series adventure. Get ISIS, the main event, paperback and Kindle Unlimited today.